my channel. So unfortunately it looks like the stream is not being presented like it should be in a horizontal fashion, at least not for me. However, I did set it up correctly before I started the video, so it should be in a horizontal fashion. Let me just see if it's still adjustable. It does not look like it's in a horizontal, like I can barely see anything. And I did click it to be horizontal. Surprise! It's not. Well, maybe it is for the viewer, but if it's not here, then it's probably not for the viewer. Whatever. Let's throw that aside. And by the way, this is a good example for a targeted individual. When they throw things off like that, you gotta roll with it, because I could sit here talking about it longer, but that probably would not be to my benefit. So it looks like I'm gonna have to talk, and I've seen plenty of targeted individuals simply talk with a black screen. And hey, at least you can see something, right? So it's not a black screen, right? So let's just roll with it. Let it be what it is. Now, what I wanted to share with you today is, actually I had some good stuff to share, etc. And surprise, we've got some, we've got what we've got. No real surprises for a targeted individual. Remember that. No surprises for a targeted individual. Like when they sabotage something, c'est la vie. Because there's no surprises for a targeted individual. You always do this. It's not a surprise. Like, okay, now look at that. That's my cheese sauce when it's melted. Totally delicious. Now, let's see if I could get a good view with the wonky setup they've done. Ooh. All right. Okay, now that has still been refrigerated somewhat. And I'm going to put it back in the refrigerator. I just wanted to share that with you because today I went on ahead and added some water and some lemon to it with a roux, a little bit of cheese powder, to kind of probably cut the calories down somewhat. So that's what I did. And now I have a lot. So I could probably make more pasta. And I was like, with all that I've been getting, and by the way, can you believe, they're even when I'm recording videos, the gall of these people, they will still do a noise campaign. They will light fireworks off while I'm recording. It's as if they feel so brazen that they can abuse people in broad daylight. And it makes me wonder, are we being completely silenced? Because I believe that the system is a part of this abuse. At least they're overlooking it. And it makes them feel free to abuse us. It makes them feel free to take away our freedom, which is not allowed. We have a right to freedom as well. We have freedom and human rights. So I hope that you heard the video today where I was speaking out on the abuse of the system and someone was lighting fireworks off in the background. This needs to stop. And that's part of the reason why I decided to post a live video. I'm gonna create even more content for people to watch. Unfortunately, I made sure that it was in horizontal view because they've done this before. And hey, maybe it's just a glitch, right? just like all the other things. For example, the fireworks in October, or well, now September 2nd, it's just a coincidence, right? Just like everything, like, the hand signals and all of it, they want to minimalize, they want to gaslight their abuse. And that's why I'm here to talk about it. I felt like while I still have freedom of speech, at least to post up to YouTube, I should use it. All right, now I'm going to, so they were lighting fireworks off in October in a previous video that I showed you. And, as a person who lives in like all of the abuse that I'm going through and is totally isolated, the date is not like the top priority on my list, right? I'm isolated, like I'm being abused. And so, but yeah, that was last month. And now, September 2nd, like I said, I don't need to check the calendar every single day because I'm not allowed to go anywhere. I should be able to have a good career that I love. I should be able to thrive. I should be able to contribute to society, but that's not the way it is for me. I am being harassed whenever I go out. I will get noise campaigns, and it's systemic. All different parts of the system partake in the harassment, and if you're a targeted individual, you know what I'm talking about. It's systemic. Okay. Now, I guess I will continue about my day, because in this situation that I'm currently in, where I'm totally isolated, I still want to do the best that I can possibly do given my current circumstances. However, the growth that I'm able to create is not my true organic potential, because when you're boxed into a box, your growth within that box is only the potential they've concealed. They place you in a box and allow you to grow in there. Now, I am very thankful for any freedoms that I do have. Like, I'm able to post this video to YouTube. I'm not sure if they're like shadow banning me or not, though. Maybe they are, I don't know. But at least I'm able to post this video. Is it really getting out there, though? And if it's not, that's sick. That's even, it's just like they've completely boxed a human being in who is being abused, and they're not letting them speak out. But I believe they are, like, when it comes to being able to speak out. I hope so. Some of the things that I talked about in my videos today were how they are spreading propaganda on people. And I won't go over that too much because you can see it on my previous videos, my short videos. My live videos are usually longer. But yeah, like I opened the door and the window, and lots of noise, another noise campaign. And I really wanted to get this live out because today I've been posting hard-hitting truths that I've been knowing for a long time about this gang stalking program and the system behind it that is funding it and covering it up and allowing injustice. I posted a lot about that. They have been going so hard with the noise campaigns and with the street theater, etc. And I was like, I gotta go live because while I've got the freedom of speech, I need to use it. I need to exercise that freedom of speech while I have it. And it will really help me, and I encourage you to do so as well, because it will really help me in order that I may continue to progress. Right? I'm taking my focus off of the noise campaigns that they're doing because I'm speaking out, and I'm speaking out more, and I'm focusing on others who are also going through this and trying to connect with them if they're making it possible. And if they're not, this, like anything that I post on the internet, is forever. So this will someday be known. Hopefully they are. And, you know, they haven't blocked my video, taken my video down like that, anything like that. TikTok did try to do that today. Right away, when I posted the video with the evidence, I was talking about gang stalking and noise harassment. I mean, in the hashtags. And then they did a noise campaign. They did the fireworks. So the evidence was in the video. Evidence of gang stalking, evidence of being a targeted individual was in the video. They took it down right away. And my channel got a warning. Then I disputed that. And thank God, someone must have watched it and been like, well, not only is he saying, you know, rational stuff, like, you may be a target, but you're being abused and mentally abused and made mentally vulnerable. Then they're trying to give you propaganda to mislead you when actually they're just trying to take your attention off of them, the abusers. Okay? And paint the victim out to be crazy. So that's what I was saying. Something like that was what I was saying in the video, and I also put the hashtag gang stalking and targeted individual. Anyway, there was evidence of, you know, targeting and noise campaigns in the video. And so when someone took it down right away, I don't know if it's AI because maybe of the hashtag or whatever, because like there's a lot of propaganda around those hashtags. And then someone watched the video and saw like, yo, like, no, I'm a real targeted individual. There's the evidence in the background. And no, I don't believe in aliens chasing me. Witchcraft, we've got noise campaigns going on left and right now because I'm making some good points. So I'm going to take a breather, and I highly recommend you do that. Hold on to your train of thought. Okay, so I'm assuming that someone watched the video and saw the evidence, and not only that, also that I was being rational. And they decided to post it. And I think they took away the violation as well. So I'm so grateful for that because, like, I was wondering, like, do we still have freedom of speech or not? I'm telling the truth, and the evidence is even in the video. And they must have seen it. So, there you go. That's good news. That's some hope for people. And I'm so glad that, you know, YouTube's not doing that. And with the horizontal thing, that always happens. It might be an issue with my phone, might be a YouTube issue, or someone might actually be doing that on purpose. I don't know about that too sure, but here's the thing with that. If you're a targeted individual, you know that it's always accidents or coincidences that sabotage what you're doing in a subtle way that is deniable. They could just say, oh, well, that was this, or oh, well, that was that. But if you're walking in the shoes of a targeted individual, you are experiencing this every single day to a point that is way beyond what you've ever experienced. And so, yeah, just for anyone who doesn't understand out there, this is why targets are suspicious, because actually there are people who are purposely doing things like that to us that are deniable all the time. Then we may run into something that actually is a real accident, but how are we to know when there are people who are purposely doing that and smirking to let us know and hand signaling to let us know, doing the hand signals that the other ones have done to us, the other gang stalkers have done to us when they abuse us, to let us know that they're in that group. So then when we experience other accidents, it is actually rational for us to be somewhat alert to this type of incident. Do you know what I mean? So there's that. Okay, so I'm very happy that TikTok decided after watching the video that it was legit, and I think it's very important for us to speak out. You know, as I'm watching this, like the image of me is sideways. It's disorientating. Instead of it being like right side up, I'm sideways in the video. It's disorientating. But anyway, and I made sure to click horizontal, and I've done that before. And see, it's almost like gaslighting, because I've done that many times. And then I question myself, well, is it horizontal that's sideways, or is it vertical? Vertical's up and down, right? And I went to Google and checked. Yes, horizontal is sideways. So I actually doubted, my own previous knowledge that I had, because they just kept it rolling with, probably a glitch in this case. I'm just going to say in this case, probably glitch. But that's an example of how you can start to, if they keep on rolling with it. Okay, so yeah, this one's for targeted individuals out there tonight. You guys will know what I'm talking about. You guys will get it. So yeah, freedom of speech, let us not lose our freedom of speech. And I am quite surprised if it's real, with all the abuse they're getting away with the way that the system targets us and is totally biased against us, lies on us, smears us. Do we really have freedom of speech? That seems like it would be even easier to take away from us. Are they just shadow banning us and making us feel like we have freedom of speech? I hope not. I hope not. So yeah, I felt like it was important for me to get these thoughts out. And I know it is. I'm using my freedom of speech right now. That's the way you keep it going and protect it. If it's possible. If it's not too late already and hasn't been too late for a long time, who knows? Might as well try. Yeah, so I'm glad I said those things, and I also wanted to be productive. But yeah, guys, they're totally messing with me, and in a lot of the ways that people talk about, infiltrating your community with people that are funded shills for the program, who stalk you with noise, who gaslight you, who minimize the abuse that's happening to you, these type of things. And it's totally sick. It's totally sick that they could do this to a person. And so I was just thinking, I gotta, keep moving. Be physically active, get my macaroni and cheese, and portion it out into Ziploc bags so that it's portion sized and I have it for a lot longer, rather than allowing all of their noise and abuse to cause me to just not to cause me to lose focus. Because even if I do lose focus because of all of the abuse, if it's already portioned out and in the freezer, not only do I not have to cook and I have food there, but also it's portion sized. And I felt like it was important that I get that done. And that is why I share this tip with you guys, because I know that that will be helpful. That is the reason. I hope you understand. That's the reason that this will be helpful. If you're a targeted individual, doing this, meal prepping is actually quite helpful. Okay, now, I was going to meal prep, but then I realized that I should probably, since I added some. So if you watched my video before, I made the cheese already, but I wanted to add more water with some roux to thicken it, so that it's not too high in calories. So that's what I did tonight. Therefore, I'm gonna have to refrigerate it again, even though it's probably already pretty cold because it's been there for at least 30 minutes. However, I just want to make sure and get it cool. It's possible that I'm shadow banned because there are people who post nonsensical shill type videos with propaganda that doesn't make any sense. Most people should overlook unless they're totally, they've been abused and they're, which is probably their target audience. However, that being said, they don't even post video, it's just audio with a black screen or whatever. Maybe just a view and that's it, something like that. Maybe a black screen, whatever, a picture, whatever. We've got some honking. Honk, 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 you know what I mean? That's one of the things. And whatever, let's roll. So they post those type of things and a lot of propaganda, etc. And then, someone like me, I know for a fact that I'm a real targeted individual, and they're doing noise campaigns on me during my videos and getting away with it, etc. I got the proof, etc. I've got a video out in the backyard when I went outside because they've isolated me, and I decided to go outside and record, and there was all kind of noise campaigns on a weekday when it's already getting cold, etc. At night, beyond, etc. And yeah, and I post this kind of content, and I have zero views during my whole life. Even when I started it, it seems like they didn't share it out to anyone. And I've got 79 subscribers. And so at least they should have shared it out to them or some people, because I do have 79 subscribers, if they're real, and yeah, I've got videos. I know I'm talking about the same stuff, but I'm not spewing nonsense at the same time. I'm only talking about the legit stuff, and they're doing that stuff in the background. I've got proof, Plus, I'm giving good tips for targeted individuals that I know work because I am one, and they're helping me. And it doesn't seem like I'm getting that amount of views. So, oh well, it's here for the history books. I'm a real targeted individual, and I do believe my voice is being silenced. I hope it stops. I'm trying. I'm a human being, and I keep on trying to get my voice out there. I am being abused. I am being held down. When I try to grow in life and contribute to the world, I'm getting sabotaged. I'm getting noise harassment. I'm getting held up. Yeah, I'm getting intimidation. I'm getting veiled threats. I'm getting noise campaigns. I'm isolated. And I'm a human being that's trying to speak out to people. is my voice being silenced? Like, on top of all of that? That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. And, like, I know that I have to do my due diligence and get on this video and speak out. And if I'm not being silenced, and if you're a real target and you're listening to this, you know what I'm talking about. Look how far they have gone. Look how far they have gone. Look how much they have done. Just imagine their plans. The only reason we still have freedom of speech, if we do, is because people in the past have used theirs to keep theirs. They had it because they used it to keep it. So if you're being intimidated and all of those other things that I mentioned, it's all the more important for you to speak out. Those are not your friends. Obviously. And they don't even care to hide it. Okay, so sometimes I think I don't want my videos to be boring, so I try to share all the information that I can, and that's good. I enjoy that. However, I also want to keep the video going when I'm cleaning and when I'm being productive and when I'm getting stuff done. But sometimes I think maybe it's boring. But you know what? Like, they're not even like letting it get out there. Like, not even one person has had a chance to even see if they like this. Like, it's said 0 the whole time. They haven't even shared it. And my videos do pretty good. So not only that, but I've watched like all the other content, like as much as I can. And I'm pretty sure this should do quite well. So, you know, and I'm being rational about that. And at the same time, like, I even could do better. Like, I know it's not perfect. For example, the fact that they've got it on horizontal or on vertical when I put it on horizontal, but it's vertical. Hopefully for the viewer, it's correct. But if not, just so you know, I made sure for you to check that everything is proper before I started the live. I clicked horizontal, and before that, I even researched just to make sure if my understanding was correct. It was, so I went with it. If they still weren't able to, you know, do as I entered, I apologize. I do. But I tried. And it's been probably a year or more that has been happening. So I think they probably had time to update that by now. But who knows? You know, it's plausibly deniable. I don't know. You know what? That reminds me though, because of that, like because of that got brought up, it also reminds me that a lot of times when I like said everything the way that I wanted to say it and I got a lot out there in the video, I will click next and it's just a black screen when I go to upload the video like when I record a short video, if I set everything the way that I wanted to, ultimately it does not let me upload it. That's been happening. Today it happened and I still got to upload it. I just clicked next this time and it still worked, but before I remember it wasn't. So I also wanted to mention that because it particularly would happen when I felt like it was a good video. What else? There was another. Oh yeah, like if I said, like, if I do get it out there and I said everything the way that I wanted to, or at least close, typically it will get a lot less views. So. But the video that had some evidence in it where they were doing some loud sounds in the background, I think it got more views. Not more views than usual, but like not nothing either. So. Okay. And with that being said, I'm going to get to work, and I sure do wish I could be working out there in the world, you know, while being supported like everyone else is able to with a team, and not being sabotaged left and right. That would be awesome. But instead, I have to slave away on meager means in order that I may preserve the food that I have, because I will eventually run out of money if I don't. I just try to, you know, make the best food that I can, and then preserve it, don't waste anything. Also balance it out with vegetables. We got more noise in the background. And today is actually like, so now that I'm recording, it's a lot less noise. There have been some noise events, but it's not like before I was recording. Before I was recording, it was over. But yeah, these monsters should not be able to get away with singling out individuals and psychologically abusing them. They should not be able to get. We should, like, honestly, what has happened to us needs to be known and handled appropriately. Let's have hope for that. And that could happen. It could happen that what they're doing to us, and exactly who's behind it, because that's hard to tell, gets exposed, and everything they were doing, like the all-encompassing abuse that targeted individuals, like real targeted individuals. I'm not talking about the actors that they put on YouTube saying nonsense in order to discredit real targeted individuals that are being abused and isolated and then having their voices silenced. Those people, we need our story to be heard, and they're flooding YouTube with lies to discredit our movement. But we do need to come together. We need to unite. And if you're a targeted individual, please hear me when I say, what is happening to us is so all-encompassing. They make it so painful that please remember, although you see a lot of phonies on YouTube, that they're paying, etc., to spew nonsense, etc. No, there are probably a lot of us out there, and we are seriously going through a lot. So therefore, this is so important to us, to real targeted individuals like yourself. It's so important to us. We need to unite and have our voices heard. Because I'm pretty sure if people just knew what is happening to us, that would be enough. Because it's bad. And of course they would not want that to happen to them. They don't want this type of program going on. So yeah, that's common sense. And the people who are doing this to us are not using their common sense. Because they're creating a system that is abusive. So yeah, I really hope I have somebody out there listening to me. And I hope it's not like only being distributed to shills. They're only like trying to twist the truth of the abuse that they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Just trying to look for something they can twist and not really sharing this with true targeted individuals. Like, I hope that's not the case, but considering the extreme abuse they've done to me already, wouldn't put it past them. But you have to have hope. You have to have hope. And if you are a real targeted individual listening to this, then you know. That it is being shared and we still have freedom of speech. But like a good amount of the people that I've seen on YouTube, I don't buy it. And it makes me wonder, where are the real targeted individuals? Like, I have learned from some people on YouTube, but I just feel like there is probably a good amount more, and where are they? That's the thing. And then if I'm not seeing that many real ones, are they really showing my videos to people that are real? Or people that are part of that program? And if that's the case, well, it's already too late. It's 1984. Not literally, but like the story. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to read that book. I know a lot of the story, but I need to finish it. I've heard, culturally about it, but I barely downloaded it and started it, so I just need to read more of it. I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen the movie. I don't think so. But I'm pretty sure most of us know a lot about that story, which is more reason to read it. I wonder. That's something to look forward to. And another funny thing about that vertical horizontal is sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And I bet you they wish I would just sit here and talk about that the whole time and get upset about it. That would help to discredit me. And I'm just going to shrug it off. I'm just going to let everyone know that it's kind of disorientating because I'm like sideways on the camera. So yeah, so it's like, it's a perfect one of those, like, it's getting you, but at the same time, you can't talk about it because if you do, it doesn't look good. But it's actually happening. You see what I'm saying? They love those type of things. In this case, I don't know, but that's how, when they are doing that, that's how it's designed. That if you complain about it, it looks, especially to the person who isn't going through it 24/7. Because when you're going through it 24/7, you're kind of like, oh wait, okay, this is like an orchestrated thing. It's not coincidence. This is happening way too much to be random. And so, you know, something to be aware of for people. How they can hide that abuse. Not saying that this is the case, but like I said, when you look at the whole picture where it's happening all the time and it's beyond a random chance, then it's like, oh, okay, this is happening. Not sure when it is and when it isn't, but obviously. And then there are times where they overtly let you know, they do the smirk, they do the hand signs, etc. And that helps to really solidify to where you're feeling it even more often. And often it is being done intentionally. Often it is. And we've really got to unite. I hope we still have free speech, and I believe we do. So let's use it. My last video got 27 views. If you're viewing this video, please subscribe, please click like, please share. You know what? I never used to say, well, I don't remember saying very often at least, please share. If you've been watching my channel, you probably know I usually say, please click like. Let me tell you, after today, after how overt and obvious they've been, please subscribe. I will say it, like, please subscribe. I'm begging you. Please share this video with anyone who you think may understand, and please click like. Typically, that's not my vibe. You know, I'm not gonna, you know, exactly do that in that fashion unless this is very serious. And yeah, I guess I'm gonna, you know, I hope you watched my videos all the way through. I try to make my videos entertaining when I'm talking, but like I said, I kind of want to keep the camera on. It helps me, it makes me feel safer, like it makes me aware that if they do some type of attack again, it'll be on camera, it'll be on audio, and I just want to rest comfortably. It's funny, right? Because I can't be like a normal person when it comes to YouTube because I'm being abused. If I wasn't being abused, I would do all of this and prepare happily and calmly and actually enjoy it for my video, which I prepare before I record, you know, set the topic, etc., because I'm not being abused and confused and sabotaged left and right, etc. Do you see what I'm saying? it would be different. But considering that this is real, I can't be like one of the shills that is funded and it's very easy for them to make a video and they're probably supported by others who have, like they have a team of people working on content ideas, etc. Blah, blah, blah. I've got no one. I'm isolated. I'm being abused. And the only reason that I'm trying to entertain is because I'm desperate for my freedom. I'm desperate to be like a normal person who can just live again. That's why I am making videos. So, I have to understand, like, I have to be compassionate on myself. Like, maybe there's going to be a boring moment in my video, but let's be realistic. Like, I have to be realistic with myself. I'm being abused, and it brings me comfort to have the video on. And, like, the hope to prevent or to produce like a good entertaining video, etc., is there, but like my reality is what it is and I need to present it as is. So if I sometimes am just quiet or cleaning, it's for all of the reasons that I explained. Like at this point, like me being a YouTuber is not the same. Like me being on YouTube is honestly a cry for help. And it brings me comfort to know that it's, at least being recorded, although it doesn't look like it's being shared. And I've watched the other content creators in this field, and I feel like maybe I should get similar views, but maybe less. Let's say maybe less, whatever. But some, like 0, the whole time of my live stream, when like I literally slave away. Like I am fighting for my life here, like for my freedom, literally. So I'm pretty sure that, and you know what? You see, I'm isolated and I have no help and I'm being ganged up on and abused and confused and sabotaged, etc. So the only reason that this is like at all presentable is because I struggle for that reason, because this is my life here, this is my freedom. Like I'm trying to speak out so that I can be free again and I can live like others, instead of when I go out or when I go online being in a box, a constructed street theater reality where they just surround you with a group. You go here, okay, well they only need that group and put them there. Okay, you go there, okay, that group there. And your whole world, your whole reality is completely scripted by these people. It's that simple. You're an individual, they've singled you out. So it's actually quite understandable, the system that they use. It's just that most people aren't in that box, and if they were, they would know. So that's what they do. They just surround you. Where you live, they put the gang stalkers. They surround you. And when you go out to the store, they have the gang stalkers follow you around, do the hand signals, etc. And so really, the world is still like it is, but for you, you've been singled out. So you've got a gang stalking you. Or a term I like to use is there's organized harassment going on. So I believe that is quite understandable. The way that I said it, even if you're not a targeted individual, you can see how that is doable. And yeah, that's happening. I can tell you for a fact it's happening to me. And that's why, although I don't have a lot of money. I don't have support. I have to cook all of my meals for myself. And so what I'm saying is I can't like you know go out and contribute and thrive in a job that I love and I'm happy at, and then have enough money to go to the restaurant and buy my food or whatever. No, I can't do that. Like, I will get harassed, I will get attacked. Like, they will use veiled threats, they will intimidate. It's not a joke. And so I'm isolated and I have to like survive in this house, everything my own. I have to do everything on my own. And that's my job. And of course, you don't get paid for that. You're just lucky you're surviving. You better work. You know what I mean? So, but that's not the way humanity is. That's not the modern day humanity for most people. That's not the way the world works. That you get targeted, and that's not the way the world works. The world, you're able to contribute and you get rewarded, and we all work together, and the world is made better because of it. That's the way that it is for most people. So if you're a targeted individual, I want to make that clear for you, how we're being treated differently, and it's harder for us to survive. And that's just one. I've mentioned so many other things, such as noise campaigns and ways that they attack you, on top of the fact that you're struggling to survive. And whatever I do have, I'm very grateful, obviously. But then that doesn't take away all of the other stuff that I mentioned. You know what I mean? It's totally not fair. It's not the same as it is for others. I'm glad I got to share a lot of what's happening to me. And oh yeah, so just to kind of like make a point of what I was saying, is I kind of feel, I don't know why, but and I probably mentioned this in previous videos, thank you for watching, to the people who watch. I kind of feel a little bit uncomfortable just cleaning, but I hope you can understand, because like I said, having the camera on, it helps me to feel more comfortable, knowing that if they attack me, it's on camera. And I wish that I could just that everything was great for me, and I could be doing the things that I was talking about earlier, contributing, rewarded, etc., and then happily, work on my video and present it. The reason it's not like that is because I'm a real targeted individual, and I want to keep this going. And myself as a targeted individual, actually, if I was watching this type of video, I would totally understand. So I guess I should probably just be fine with it. Okay, so I like to microwave my sponges for 30 seconds to disinfect them. If you like this type of content, I didn't think about that, but there are probably people who like this type of content. If you do, prepare for more. I'm probably going to make more videos like this, because it gives me something to do. And like I told you, as targeted individuals, this is our freedom. This is our life. So I'll do this. Okay, so I should probably rinse these first. So here's my plan. I'm going to rinse these first, and then I'll probably go get a massage, and I will even, and by the way, I have a massage chair. Highly recommend getting one of those. And I'm so grateful for that massage chair. Like I said, like anything I can have that is helpful, like I'm so appreciative to it, and that's one of the bright sides. But yeah, you know, okay, we got another noise campaign, some loud like boom 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 music. So sometimes when I'm talking, I like to, and then I hear boom boom or any type of loud music. Sometimes I like to just be quiet and let it pass, you know. Because they want you to lose your train of thought and get emotional. But just let them have their moment. And you know they're trying to silence you, or if it's not intentional, in the very least they're invading your space, like, but anyway. When I say they're invading your space, like, you might be trying to read a book and you hear all of a sudden boom boom boom, and the wall, if you're leaning against it, starts shaking. It's quite noticeable, and that's what I mean by, like, it's quite distracting. And that time was not an example of a wall shaking sound. It smells so good in here. Okay. Oh, I've got some boxes that I gotta move. Please pardon the noise. I'll try to not do that in there. Usually I'm quite conscientious about noise because of all the noise that people make. And I think that's a good tip for targeted individuals. Like, it's good to become conscientious because of the noise that they make rather than like wanting to do that back, right? Because if a lot of people are like making noise on you or doing hand signals on you, you know, like humans, we sometimes can tend to mimic that behavior. So it's important that you make a conscious choice to become more conscientious about it because you didn't like the fact that they were making that noise.
And so that's why if I make noise, I'm usually conscientious and I don't make loud music noise like that. And it's partly because of that reason, but I also just think I just want to do that. So this is the massage chair. It's got this remote. It's not in horizontal, so it's hard to see on the camera. Oh my god. Game stalking and abuse can cause, from what I've heard, now I'm not sure if this is, and I don't really like to, speak on a lot of things because sometimes I'm like, I know for a fact that they do put propaganda out, and maybe this isn't even true. But that being said, my back hurts, like it's sore, and this massage chair helps it a lot. And if you, as a targeted individual, are feeling or experiencing tight muscles, you might want to try a massage chair. It helped me a lot. I truly hope that I'm able to reach out to other victims of this abuse. I hope that real targeted individuals are able to hear my advice. I think the longer that I have the video like this, just recording, I'm going to get more comfortable with it being like that. I saw something. I have something in my shirt. Oh no, it's on the phone. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get more comfortable relaxing on camera. And as a matter of fact, I probably can relax more with the camera on. It is so quiet right now. Let me tell you, I'm not used to this. It almost seems like they got word, like, yo, the fireworks, like, right near his house, like, cut that out quick. He was recording a video about the abuse while you did that. So, so I just want them to stop. If you only knew, like, how comforting and relaxing it is to have a moment of quiet. I mean, on one hand, you know, I want to be able to record what they're doing. I mean, when I'm not recording, right? When I'm not recording, they're doing that. So when I am recording, I kind of like feel like if they do that, at least I'll be able to show it. This is something else. This is something else. The vibe, the quietness, and when I say vibe, by the way, I don't mean that in like a spiritual sense. No, they actually put a lot of videos in our awareness, like in our stream on YouTube, etc. Talking about things like vibe, etc. But there goes some noise. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the atmosphere due to the less intense and super loud noise is a lot more calming. Because of course, if you've got a noise campaign going on with booming fireworks and super loud motors and music all going off, it's I'm not gonna say a different vibe because that's not really it doesn't give the vibe. It doesn't just give the it doesn't really convey something with a sense of roots in reality. Do you know what I mean? And this is reality. People are affected by sounds. If you're a targeted individual, please remember that 80% of the emotional influence a movie has over you is the soundtrack and the audio played in the movie. So, if the background soundtrack and audio to your life is chaos, that's one of the things that they use, and it's also plausibly deniable. So, however, an awareness of it kind of neutralizes it somewhat. Once you're aware that they're doing that, we're human, so we can make a conscious choice at that point. But there are probably, you have to remember, there are probably people out there who are all frazzled and thinking that they're getting hit with directed energy weapons, that aliens are involved, that you know what I mean, this type of stuff, and they got that boom, boom, boom in the background, and they're like thinking about aliens. When in reality, the abuser playing the boom, boom, boom has the victim looking like a nut. Can I make that any clearer? But then when you're aware of what they do, it's somewhat different. And then when you expose what they're doing, it, that's very important. If we ever want to get a change, if you are aware of who's actually doing that and you're exposing it, that helps. And there you go. Again, same day. So, whenever something like that happens, think of Jesus. I know that this is not like 100% spiritual because those people are using their free will to abuse, not just me, the community. Because it's not, right now, it's not time for fireworks. It's nighttime and it's out of the season and it's improper, etc. They know what they're doing. And so, think of Jesus, have, stay calm, let God cool the waters, calm the waters, and have hope. Take a breather when something like that happens, take a breather. And you know what? I rebuke any ill will or negative intention sent toward me. In the name of Jesus Christ, I rebuke it. And you breathe, as I said, and then you focus on what you're doing. Like, for example, right now, I'm speaking out on the abuse that is happening to targeted individuals. They use noise campaigns, they shock the targeted individual, they get them in a confused and dazed state in order to make them look like they've lost balance or whatever, God can help you to make it, even make you use it for your good, okay? And just remember to use those protocols and focus on what you were doing. Know that it has made you stronger. Know that it has made you aware of the value of freedom of speech that, in the past people have used in order to preserve their freedom of speech. They used their freedom of speech to preserve it. Hopefully, we still have it. But I have evidence in this video. Like, I've been going through this for years, and I've really tried to. I also have experience with YouTube. And I really wanted to get this message out there. And they're doing that in the background. So, and I don't take the phone with me when I go to the store, but it's worse when I go to the store. At least here I'm safe in my house. At the store, they're doing all kind of psyops, hand signals, colors they've sensitized me to, all kind of sensitization triggers, just total harassment, total public harassment. Try to spin a narrative. In any way they can abuse you, slow you down. I remember in the beginning, I was trying to be as patient and as kind as I could. And I kept trying to do that. And I think I was like blaming myself for not being more patient and not being more kind and this and that. But eventually I started to realize that, you know what? Like, I'm empathetic, so I didn't want to be like, wait a minute, maybe it's not me. Maybe it is them. I fought against that for so long until I realized, no, what it is there's just a group of people that box you in. And where you go, they'll go. And then they can keep repeating that. Oh, when I realized that, then they became overt. They didn't even try to hide it. They became more abusive. Like, for example, now, even I'm recording, they'll blow fireworks right off in the front. And then when I was recording earlier in there, they blow the firework off in there, near that area. Now I'm in here and they do it over here. Stuff like that, you know what I mean? And you probably know as a viewer, I was in that other room, right, when they did the firework. You hear any fireworks in the background that same day, that same video? No. And then now I'm recording this one, same day. There's another firework, but now I'm in here and the sound's in here. It wasn't in like the background. That was like over in my direction. Do you know what I mean? So I've got that proven. And one thing that I can tell you as a targeted individual is if they're doing this crazy stuff, it really does mean that you're doing better. Okay? If you're doing better, they tend to do this. If you're backsliding, they might give you a break. But if you're like meal prepping, saving up so you won't run out of food, portion sizing your meals so you don't gain weight, buying vegetables, speaking out on their abuse on YouTube, that's when you're going to start getting abused. And they're not your friends. Obviously, that type of behavior tells you that they're not your friends, they are your abusers. And so when they're doing those things, it's probably because you're doing good for yourself and for others. So good, good. Celebrate that. The world has, and I don't want to say the world because the whole world, you know what I mean? But you know, ways of the world anyway, but the way of the world. That being said, um, I also want to remind you that you're somewhat boxed in. Like you've got this group around you. So it may feel like the whole world. Um, but like I'm talking in a general sense because if this is being allowed to happen and like I'm being somewhat silenced, like this with evidence and everything is not getting out there and I'm like literally pleading for my freedom and for my life when I deserve that. Why is it that way? If there's not a general sense of this being kind of allowed, um, even if that's like only by the, I don't know if you want to call it like people in power or elites. Like when I say elites, I mean people with lots of money. Because now I might mention those things, but I'm not exactly sure which or if either is exactly who's behind it. But obviously, the system has been swayed in that direction enough, at least, for them to do this to us. And that's why I feel like the system is, to blame rather than aliens or things that don't exist. And no offense to anyone who believes in that. I understand they put videos out like all the time for targeted individuals, all kind of videos. So if you've been seeing that, like it's gonna take a minute, right? It's gonna take a minute, but please consider what I'm saying. They want you off of their track and onto some nonsense, so you look crazy and you're off of their track. Just saying. And it's so much better for you to post the videos live. I'm not sure if they're sharing it. So while you post videos live, be productive. Um, and if you're talking and posting videos, you're not doing drugs, you're not overeating, you're not this and that. You're like trying to have peace, trying to live your life the way that you want to live it in peace and thrive. Of course, we all want to thrive. I think even people that do drugs, I don't think they really like. I feel like they were not thriving in the beginning, and maybe like whatever's happening to us happened to them, and they wanted to escape. But I beg of you, please don't escape. We need you. So if you have to, record a video. You're safe, you're on video, you're live. Record a video. Okay. Now all of a sudden I was thinking, what if someone joined the room? I probably would just continue talking about what I'm talking about. Because I was thinking, shouldn't I have something prepared to like share? But then I was thinking, well, I probably did already share what I had in mind in the beginning of the video. So maybe I could say, thank you for joining and most of my content. But then that's kind of like, oh, maybe, okay, well, you already done talking then. I could say, most of my content I already kind of said in the beginning. Now I'm just relaxing, which is true. But maybe in the future I'll have like some surprise content for someone who joins or something like that. It's just a thought that I had. And yeah, now that I really can't reiterate enough the fact that now that I am posting hard hitting content on YouTube, they're really going all out with the abuse. These people are aggressive liars, cheaters, and thieves, and they come to destroy. So they are not, like, I do not care. I will not, you know what I mean? Um, no, I'm not taking their abuse, like, I'm not taking that into consideration. I'm not going to be intimidated. It just tells me that I need to speak out. So many people that live around me just so happen to have very loud motors that wake me up in the night and wake me up in the morning. And you know what? They mostly wake me up in the morning, and I thank God for that. And it's funny because I'm definitely not saying I thank God that they wake me up in the morning. You know what I mean? You got to be clear. When you have gratitude as a person who's being abused, you have to be clear with yourself and with others when you use gratitude. So I said they wake me up in the morning and, I'm grateful or whatever, but grateful to God. I think, something like that. But my point was, and I need to make it clear because I feel like it's important as an abused person, you make this type of stuff clear. I'm grateful that they don't wake me up at night when I'm trying to sleep. And they do, actually, now that I think about it. They have woke me up while I'm trying to sleep at night. But the majority of the time, it's in the morning, early in the morning. And I would say, like, every other night, it happens, like, during the night, maybe once or twice. Maybe every other night, maybe every night, I'm not sure. But I feel like every morning there are multiple motors, loud motors. They just so happen to all have loud motors. Not all of them, thank God. But around me, most of them. So loud enough to wake you up and loud enough to. And it's funny because it seems like, they'll wake you up earlier than you were intending to wake up. And it's not good to wake up in a bad mood. And then you might try to be like, I forgive it. God, I give it to you, Lord. You start to fall back asleep. It takes you like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Right when you start to fall back asleep. And that time it's worse. That time it's worse. And that's when you're like, well, in my case, that's when I'm like, okay, God, I give it to you again. I guess I have to get up. I guess I have to get up before I like really get the amount of sleep that I need. And I do feel like there are limits. There are a lot of things though that targeted individuals. Now this is more of a previous stance that I had. Like now I feel like maybe they're chills, maybe they're plants. And I call them shills because they're lying to people who are being abused in order to make them look crazy. So, don't think that I'm going to feel bad about calling you a shill. And that's another thing for targeted individuals to know. Like, it's not even a vulgar word. Like, it's just, well, I don't think it is. And if I, find a better alternative, I'll use it. But I don't mean to use it in a vulgar word, but what they're doing is quite terrible. So I don't quite care in that case. But like I said, I really don't know a better word for it anyway. Um, but yeah, what was my point there? See what I mean? I started to get self conscious about using the word shills for people who are doing these terrible things, and I lost my train of thought. So you really have to just remember, like, look at what these people are doing to you. Like, don't lose your train of thought. Don't put too much energy let's say, don't put too much attention. Don't pay too much attention to that. So yeah. Okay, I remember. So the stuff that they're going on about, like directed energy weapons, etc., I never experienced that. So I kind of just told myself, at the same time, I would have never believed that the stuff that I'm going through now, with like people targeting me and following me around at the store, doing hand signals, blowing off fireworks whenever I'm trying to speak out about their abuse, etc. I would have been like, well, but it's happening. So at the beginning, because of that, I would kind of be like, maybe I don't have it as bad as some people have it, and it sounds unbelievable, but I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know. Um, but over time, I had to make a decision, and I decided that it's probably propaganda in order to discredit us. I've never experienced directed energy weapons, I've never experienced voices, any of that. And that being said, I do think some people probably have it worse. Even though it's not like, made up stuff. That stuff is being made up for propaganda. But there are probably, like, for example, some people, here's an example that sounds possible, that still is worse than what I received, and that is people breaking into their house and moving things around. I don't experience that. And there's a lot of things that I don't experience. And so, but honestly, what I do experience is enough to like traumatize me and affect me and take my freedom away, take my human rights away. I need to look more into like exactly like which human rights and which like what are they, this and that. I can look into that. But it's a lot when you're going through it. I wish I had someone to talk to, but that's another thing. And if you're a targeted individual, you probably know that they really do a good job of making it feel like there's no one to turn to. And when you turn to someone, they're pretty good at getting their, like, I don't know how they do that. Some people say that they have, like, the system in this program has a branch pretty much everywhere. Like Walmart, your dentist, wherever you go, they have someone there that works with this program. And so if you are a targeted individual, you're going to be getting those people that work there. And not only that, but you're going to be getting other patients or customers that also work with this program, thus creating the box wherever you are. You're in that box wherever you go. With just those amount of people rather than it being everyone. But you can see how to a regular person, it does seem like it's everyone. But no. But they can make it feel like that. But if you haven't experienced it, hearing about that, especially from someone who isn't aware of the boxed in strategy that they use. You see what they do? Oh, it's wicked. It's wicked. That's abuse, psychological abuse. And not only that, but victim blaming on top of that. And calling them crazy. But then if you become aware of all of this, then they become overt. And according to what I've heard YouTubers talk about, you want them to get overt because they don't want to get overt. They want you to look crazy. When they have to get overt, actually, it starts to play into your favor a little bit more because you get to prove it more. And also, you're not allowing them to, you're not buying into their nonsense, you know? Use your freedom of speech, people, please. Please. They sure are abusing it and trying to take ours away. But they're probably funded and supported. So it's a lot easier. It's already easier to destroy a castle than it is to build one. And we've got all of the sabotage, and they've got all of the support. And they're the ones doing the destroying, and we're trying to build. But we've got the truth on our side. This is actually happening, and we can prove it. We've also got freedom of speech. We need to speak out. So, if you're a targeted individual, they have pretty much made a dead end for you in a lot of ways and blocked you. But there are limits to what they can do. And so you might as well use whatever freedoms that you have. Because think about it, as a targeted individual, look what they're doing to you. You know. This is so serious for us. We have no choice but to double down, triple down. I'll just add the caveat of please don't overdo it, don't burn out. Don't burn out. So what you want to focus on there. And by the way, I believe like as a person, I don't know if it's a gene or whatever, but like I feel like I'm somewhat of a healer. And they try to target those if you have any kind of like anything that is a quality that you have, a quality, humans have qualities. They try to target that. Not only do they not want you to know that about yourself, but they also want you to like get triggered by it, to totally turn away from it. But anyway, so yeah, that's a whole other point. Like, focus on your. And do you see what I mean? I kind of lost my train of thought again because of what they've done. That's trauma. They did that to me, and I was trying to make a point, but it brought that up, and I kind of discussed it and lost my train of thought there. And they've created like so many traumas in us. But that being said, it's not as bad as they would want you to believe when it comes to healing. It's possible. It's totally possible. And actually, you can let go of all of their programming. It may arise, once in a while, whatever. But it's not as bad as like the propaganda would have you believe. And you can deal with it. And if this was to stop, if this program was to stop, just stop, you go back, especially in time. But honestly, right away, you would be overjoyed to see that, oh my God, it's not happening. Like, I'm not being abused everywhere I go, like right away. So please be aware of that. And then on top of that, over time, it would sink in. Because You know, at first you're gonna be overjoyed. Maybe it'll arise again every once in a while, but eventually it will sink in. So please be aware of that. Now, as it is now, like the system, like it seems to have different parts, but they seem to be two different wings of the same bird. They seem to be, and I don't know. But so I feel like the hope will come from a different, from something unexpected, like something good to arise and just kind of like, yo, like we see what you're doing, stop doing that. Like you, that is not okay here. That's not going to be allowed. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I know. I just wanted to point out that yeah, I can see that it looks like yeah they have different sides and everything, but like, is it all really like at the end of the day they're all laughing it up and having drinks or whatever? Like, right? I'm sure you know what I mean. I don't know. I hope not. So I really hope not. I mean, yeah, it's good to be civilized and civil and all that, but not if you're like all in it together and pretending that you're not so that people think that they have choice but they don't. That's what I'm talking about. That wouldn't be okay. I wonder what point I was getting to earlier there because I think that was a good one. Anyway, and then I think I heard like a loud motor go by or something. I don't know. I know it brought up something. Yeah, it brought up the fact that they try to trigger you by your own qualities by using other people with those qualities to kind of like attack you or hurt your feelings. Just wanted to make you aware of that. And in reality, you actually have those qualities. So if you admired that in someone else and they hurt you, just be aware that the reason you admired that is because that's something that you have, okay? So build on that, work on yourself. And you might actually be quite special, you know, in that way. Your quality might be special or unique, and it only played into them wanting to hurt you even more, you know, because sometimes people, if they see some potential in you that they already have, especially if it's potentially greater, sometimes they don't like that. But who knows? All I can say is work on your qualities and your strengths. Those are good for the world. Don't let people, you know. I want to say don't let people like hold that down or whatever, but like if you're a targeted individual, you know, like what are you gonna do, right? Like this is systemic. They're so therefore in that case I would say have hope that um, that will change. You know, that will over time with time we like look on that as it is wrong. I feel like today's video was good. I got a lot of points in there. Like I made a good point. Excuse me. We've got a car going by. it was at a much more normal rate though. So, it's not as often as if I wasn't recording, I feel like. The macaroni, I was just thinking the macaroni and cheese that I had today was really good. It was really good. But I'm probably not gonna have any more. Uh, I'm not sure if I do have something. It'll probably be something light, but I'm not sure what. Um, I do intend to make more videos. Like, even if YouTube's not letting them get out there, I know they're out there. And who knows, hundreds of years in the future, people may be seeing them. And they'll know that I was a real one. And this was actually happening to me. And I was trying my best. And I was speaking out on it. So, if not now, someday. But I'd like to hope that, I'm able to reach out to someone and help them now, of course, who's actually going through it, or maybe someone who has compassion and empathy, who understands, who wants to help. That would be amazing. I don't usually think about that, but that would be amazing. And yeah, they will. Maybe this was the point I was making earlier. They will also, like anyone you turn to, they get to them before, or they have someone there, right? So then you start to lose trust. Because even if someone tries to help you, like they've already, like the sources that you're supposed to turn to for help, they will gang stalk you there. And therefore, then you're like, "Ugh, it's systemic. What do I do?" And you have to have hope still. This may stop. All of this may stop. But they should not be able to get away with doing that. It's so inhumane. It's so all encompassing and abusive. It's totally inhumane to do that to a person, because that's only one aspect of it. And that is bad enough to be like, oh, whoa, that's like, it's pretty bad. Like everywhere you turn, they got like I don't know what you want to call it, a handle or whatever you want to call it. But someone involved in the program and being funded by the system or whatever. And that's pretty bad already, just thinking about that. But then, they will show you. They will do hand signals while you're there. They will use the triggers. They will do noise campaigns. They'll slam doors. They'll do the drive-ins and drive-outs while you're, right when you walk in, they'll walk in, etc. And it's just like so many of those subtle, plausibly deniable, but like constant, to where if you mentioned any one of them, it sounds plausibly deniable, but then as you're the person walking in your own shoes, that it's overwhelmingly constant, that you're getting these coincidences and accidents and slowdowns and sabotage. So yeah, it makes you want to isolate. And a lot of people say online, "Oh, don't let them isolate you." But then you wonder, like, are they perps, or are they really looking out for your good? Because if you go out, they're gonna shake you up. You're gonna be dazed and confused. They're gonna like do noise cancellations on you. They're gonna do all those things that I just mentioned. When you stay at home, you've got some level of peace. You can like turn to God and just live in peace like you want to do. But they still do noise campaigns as far as the house. But when you go out, it's even worse. So sometimes I don't understand when people say like, "Don't let them isolate you," because I feel like you can heal, you can recover, you can rest, you can survive, you can do healthy habits, work out, eat right, etc. And I will still eventually try to go out, but like every time I go, it's the same thing, the harassment. But eventually I have to, And so all I can say is with that, I will just be graceful and peaceful, and I know they're gonna try to abuse me, but I'm just gonna let them. It sucks, but that's what I gotta do until people know about this, and it's already not okay. But if people knew, it wouldn't be allowed because they don't want that to happen to them, right? That type of program. And the system shouldn't be allowed to do that. So yeah, just have hope that it will all change and the future will be different. I know it doesn't look good because I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself on. No, I kind of feel like I'm repeating myself, which is fine because I feel like it's important to know. Um, I was just thinking when I start to repeat myself, it's probably time to relax. Just have the massage, just chill. Maybe I'll think of something else. Because I gotta remember that like I am going through this like live, this is happening in my life. Like I'm being oppressed, held down, abused, psychologically, emotionally abused. And so I don't wanna like expect too much of myself. Like I have to have some compassion. And honestly, I already feel like I'm doing pretty good to help. If this ever is allowed to reach out to a real targeted individual, it would help. I know what I could do. I could portion size my macaroni. It might take me a minute to get my camera back. It looks like it might fall. Okay, that's a lot better. Oh yeah, it's like, well, that's fine. Okay, so I should get my macaroni. I'm glad I remembered that because if I turned the video off, I would be like, oh yeah, I still have more to do. I could have done this while I was on quiet.
So in the future, I'll probably be able to do better camera angles and etc. But just please bear with me as I'm going through a lot of abuse, etc. Like just the fact of like the weight of the fact that like my future is in jeopardy because I know everything that's been happening to me just continues to happen. Like it's hard to even think about the future. Like what future? Like actually, like oh my god, what future? You know, like am I gonna be homeless? Like I'm not allowed to. Well, then again, you know, I do have enough to keep me alive, and also God always provides. So I don't really go there, but at the same time, like, I want to see a future where, you know, like, I used to have gallstones, and I got the surgery, and I got those out, and I was ready to go. Like, I could have became something. But honestly, it wasn't allowed. I was harassed, and yeah, that's that. Okay, so I could cook another pot of pasta. Let me think. I could keep the pasta separate. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I want to do that anyway, right? I feel like keeping the pasta separate is a better idea. Yep. Okay. I'm telling you, portion sizing your meals is a very good idea. Saves time, it's healthier, etc. Now I'm thinking, should I do like, should I put, yeah, I'm just gonna put like single servings. That's fine. Oh. So I'm putting one scoop like that, one scoop. Let's see, because it's hard to, one scoop. And then when I cook more pasta, although I still have some of my elbow macaroni, but I will have more than like I can use. I think more sauce than I can use for that. I don't know. And I want to put the pasta away. Usually when I have pasta, I don't know if it's true, but they always say pasta's like, of the carbs, it's like one of the worst, you know, versus like rice or bread. And that's why I always try to like portion size it. I might have it for a few nights, but I could eat this for a while. And I don't want to do that because of, like I said, what I learned about it. And this is going to make so many servings. And that's good. So yeah, just making my portions. Telling you, those game suckers, they sure don't like you speaking the truth about what they're doing. And that tells you a lot. For one thing, it tells you they know what they're doing is wrong. Because yeah, they really tried with the triggers and everything. Typical of GameStop to do that. And like I said, it tells you a lot. It's wrong. They try to intimidate. With those triggers, they try to intimidate you. They try to get you in fear, they try to get you confused. Why? Well, because they're abusing you and they want to get away with it. And they don't want you speaking the truth about what they're doing. When in reality, that's your best idea to do. For you, that's the best thing you can do. I actually don't have much room left in the freezer, so that's good. I've been working on meal prep for a while now, so it's good to have food enough and having your drink of water. If you're a targeted individual, or really anyone, try to drink enough water. Make sure you drink enough water. got a salad in today. I'm not sure if I mentioned it. It was coleslaw salad again with the mushrooms, like I showed you before. So I got another one of those in. It was good. That was breakfast, or lunch actually. And I had an egg with it. I think that was like, yeah, around noon. So it was good. It was good. Tonight I ate more macaroni than last night, and I was like, okay, time to portion size it. It was good though, for a treat. I didn't way overdo it or anything, so that's good. And yeah. Now I'm just mixing in the rest of my pasta into the bowl, just to get what's left on the bowl, because it's actually enough. That was a lot of sauce. And it was flavorful too, so you don't need like a lot of sauce. So yeah. That's why I was able to have a lot of portions to save. I should probably go ahead and portion size the pasta as well. Yeah, I don't need a big portion. Okay. I'm gonna try to get. Alright guys, I'm almost done with the video. But yeah, this is pretty much what I've been doing, you know, staying busy. And then yesterday I got a 30-minute walk in, and I mentioned on the video that I got a 30-minute walk in and I was all out of breath. I forgot to mention that, like, this time, part of the walk, I ran. So, I forgot to mention that. It was kind of funny. I was like, oh well. Sometimes I'll delete a video for something like that, but then I was like, no, whatever. Who cares? I'm trying not to take a bite. I want to, but I'm not gonna. Okay. Because I was doing so good yesterday, and they really have been hitting me hard with the abuse, like after I did good. And today I was like, you know, because on one hand you want to make sure that you don't push yourself too hard. Like so actually, that's a tip that I have. What they're doing, let it be motivation to you, but also remember to have compassion on yourself and don't push yourself too hard that it's going to become unbearable or overwhelming. But yeah, you can, do more that you're capable of rather than, being lazy or whatever. So yeah, you can do that. But yeah, so that's another thing that I wanted to share. And I am done with my pasta, so I guess that'll be it for today's video. I'll probably post somewhat more regularly. Um, yeah, maybe I'll do. I don't want to say I'll do a walking video because I'm not sure if I want to do a walking video. I know I'll walk, but uh, we'll see. I do think I'll be more frequent with the posting though. So yeah, if you're a targeted individual, we need to stick together. Please support each other. Click like, and I appreciate it. Um, Other than that, yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.